So it's recording. Participants, let me put you all on mute. Oh, there comes Marilee. Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, everybody. All right, so Jean, Jean's there too. Okay. I changed it and I couldn't see you on the thing, but I could see you on the list of people.
Oh, okay.
Now you're all here. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're recording. I'm going to put you all on mute, and then we'll get started. Now we're going to start standing up. I'm sitting down as I'm playing with my computer, but I'm going to stand up here in a second, so you guys all stand. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to stand up. Now, at the very beginning, all you're going to do, you put your hands on your hips. You can put a hand on a wall if you need to. Knock it over. Down your whiteboard here. Or you can just have your hand, you can have your hands up to the sky if you want this to be a real challenge. Right, but what we're going to do here at first, you're just going to lift one heel, drop it down, and the other. So you're just kind of going back and forth, waking everything up. Do that a couple more times. All right, now come to a stop with both heels down. See if you can lift up both heels at once. So you're just kind of coming up on your tippy toes, dropping back down, up and down. And then drop it all the way down. Now, from here, take your feet out just a little bit wider. Turn your heels in towards each other. They don't have to be touching. If that's not comfortable to you, you can be a little bit further away. But bring them towards each other and let your feet go out so your feet are at a diagonal. And then we're going to do the same thing here, right? You're just going to lift up one and the other. Go back and forth here a few times. And then come to a stop. Now, see if you can lift both heels at once. So you're lifting up and down, up and down. We'll do that 8 more times. And come all the way down. Now from here, what we're going to do, take your feet a little bit further apart. Okay, so a little bit wider than hip distance, but you still want to be at that place where your heels are in and your toes are out. And we're going to squat here. So you're going to bend your knees and drop your hips. So it looks like this, and then come back up. Let your knees track right along your ankles. Right, don't let them fall in. That's not good for your knees. One more. Right now we're going to come all the way up. Now, turn your feet in towards each other here, or towards each other, towards the top of your mat. Take your legs out even wider. So now you've got that super wide stance. We're going to take our hands up to the sky. We're going to do our windmills here. That means you're going to come down. You're going to bring your right hand towards your left ankle as your left hand goes up to the sky. Come back up, and then go the other way. We're gonna do 2 more each direction here. Right hand, left hand, 1 more, right hand, and left hand. All right, so now come all the way up. All right, so now you're here like in this 5-pointed star in yoga. All right, turn your heels in and your toes out again. And then bend into your knees. So you're gonna drop your hips down here. So you're gonna hold this plie squat, right? A little wider stance than we did when we were just coming up and down, but you're gonna stay down here. Take your arms, bring them to cactus arms. All right, and first, we're just gonna go back and forth here. You're gonna lean to the right. Bring your right elbow toward your right knee. Come back up. Bring your left elbow towards your left knee. You can get all the way down and touch your elbow to your knee, that's great. But you don't want to bring your elbow in to touch, and you don't want to lean forward to touch. Come back up. So just keep going back and forth here to the right, to the left. You want to feel the side abs working. Like I said, it doesn't really matter if you don't get the elbow to touch. You just want to lean as far as you can, keeping everything else in line. So we're going to do 2 more each way, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Now, come back to center. I want you to push all the way up. Keep your toes pointed out to the sides, but push your legs up straight and take your hands up to the sky. Now, from here, we're going to come back down into that squat. But this time, you're going to bend your elbows and you're going to bring your fingertips behind your head. So you're opened up like this. Then bend your knees. Drop those hips low. All right, so stay here for a second, right? Hopefully you're feeling it. What we're going to do from here, now you're going to take your right elbow, kind of like we did those windmills, right? You're going to bring your right elbow over towards your left knee. Again, it doesn't have to touch. Come back up. So you're twisting, bringing your torso across towards the opposite knee. Keep sinking low. I'm saying that because I can feel myself coming up. We're going to do 2 more each way. And then now you're going to come all the way up. Turn your toes forward. Let your hands come to your sides. Now, walk your feet in. So now we're just here, regular standing with our feet about hip width distance apart. We're going to do our leg overs here, right? Just to wake up the legs a little bit more. Now, imagine that there was a big pole in front of you, right? We've done these in the studio with those foam rollers standing up on end. We're not going to use those, right? We're going to pretend like we have it. And it's right outside your right foot. So you'll lift your right foot up, and you have to go over that pole and bring it around. And then you're going to do the same with the left. You're going to bring it over to the outside, come around. All right, so you're just lifting your right foot up like you're trying to swing it over a big box. Do 8 total, so we're going to do 5 more on each side. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and then last one here. All right, now come to a stop. All right, now from here, we're back at standing. We're gonna come all the way down to seated. So you're gonna try to do it, like always, without using your hands. So you just bring yourself all the way down. All right, now, as we come all the way down here, we're gonna come to hook line. I'm turning sideways. You guys can stay where you are with your feet at the top of your mat. Just so your feet are pointed forward, your knees are up to the sky. We're gonna do our scoops at first. So we're taking our arms out long, making those fists. Bring your elbows to your ribs. Look straight ahead. Tuck your chin to your chest, look down at your belly. Come about halfway down, just far enough down that you're in that icky place where now you either want to go back up or you want to come all the way down. We're going to go back up here at first. So you're going to bring it all the way up, press your belly to your thighs as much as you can. Lift your chin up so you're looking straight ahead. As you go down, you're going to tuck your chin to your chest and round down. Still coming just at halfway point. So do that about 10 more times. Push up, look up, tuck your chin, round down. Push your belly to your thighs, look up, tuck your chin, come back down. 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, come to stop here. Now, hug your knees, or hug your forearms around your knees, just for a breath. Tuck your chin to your chest, grab your forehead toward your knees. Now from here, we're gonna come back to where we were. So you're gonna lift up, take your arms long, right? Just keep your arms going long here. You're not gonna pull them into your ribs here. You're gonna come to that halfway point, right? So now we're here, your palms are facing each other, they're reaching past your knees. And I just want you to pulse here. So we're gonna pulse. So it's just a little tiny movement. Like you're in a boat and it's rocking. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, you're gonna come all the way down. So you're gonna let yourself lay all the way down on your back. Move a little bit forward here so I don't run into the wall. So we're here. Then take your knees, let them fall open so that the soles of your feet are together. So you're doing this reclining down angle. So it should feel good, but we're gonna work still while we're here. All right, so what you're gonna do here, you're gonna bring your palms together, push your fingertips towards your toes, and then lift your head and shoulders up. So it's just a little movement, come up and down. You should feel it right through your, or you guys can't see, right through your belly, your low belly. Five more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you come all the way down. Now this time we're gonna come up like we did before, right? You're gonna come up and keep your fingertips, or keep your palms together so your fingertips are reaching toward your toes. And here, just like we did when we were in this hook line, we're gonna pulse. So we're pulsing, little tiny movement, just reaching up and down. Don't let yourself come all the way down or all the way up. Working that middle range. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now let yourself come all the way down. Oh, it should feel good. Now what we're gonna do from here, we've done these before. You're gonna bring your fingertips behind your head, just like when we were standing up earlier, right? So your elbows are going out to the sides. Now, you're gonna lift your feet slightly up off the mat, right? Like this. And then you're gonna lift your head and shoulders. You're gonna let your elbows come in, lift your feet, lift your head and shoulders till you can touch your elbows and your knees, right? You can bring your knees in as far as you need to. The higher you can lift your head and shoulders, right, then the harder it is. The more you lift with your feet, the easier it is. And it's okay, you find your happy medium, right, where you can get the elbow and the knees together, right, but it's a little bit challenging. All right, so we're gonna do that 9 more times. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're gonna come all the way down. Now, from here, let your legs go out long. Take your arms overhead, Point your toes like the tip of a pencil. Reach your fingertips high. Take that full body stretch. Now from here, we're gonna bend into the knees. Right, so your feet are on the ground. We're gonna come into our floating table. So you're gonna pull your knees up right over your hips. Keep your calf curled to the ground. Keep your feet flexed, like your toes are gonna come back towards you. And now we're gonna have our hands at our sides, right? And I want you to do that 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, where you press the low part of your back into the mat, that place where you can get your hands to come underneath your mat, and then you round it down, press the top part of your back so that your back is flat, right? Go back, that's your 6 o'clock here with the arched back, 12 o'clock, flat back. So you're trying to just go back and forth here without letting your legs move too much. You can see my movement a little bit, right, but they're not driving the movement. They're swinging back and forth as I do this. It's all in the spine and the pelvis. Do a couple more here just to get a sensation to find what your range of motion is. And then come to a stop. Now, as you come to a stop, you don't want to be in that full 6 o'clock with a fully arched back. You don't want to be in that full 12 o'clock with a really flat back. You want to be right in between. Right? So find that neutral pelvis. Make sure your knees are still right over your hips and that your calves are parallel to the ground. Now, you can do this with your head and shoulders on the ground, like we are right now. If you want to make this a little harder, you can lift your head and shoulders and reach those fingertips forward. You decide. We're going to do our heel taps here. You're going to take your right foot, keep that perfect L shape in your leg, just drop your right heel to the ground. Give it that little tap, tap, pull it back up. So the only thing moving on your leg is your hip, right? Everything else is staying still. You're dropping that left foot, give it a little tap, tap, pull it right back up to floating table. So just keep going, alternating back and forth with these heel taps. A little tap, tap, you pull it back up. Like I said, if you want to make it more, you lift your head and shoulders. Tap, tap, pull it up. Tap, tap, pull it up, right? You don't want to extend your leg. It doesn't look like this, right? And you don't want to drop your heel towards your glute to get down faster, right? A lot of people go like this to get down really fast. You want to do that. You're just moving at the hip. Let's do 5 more here. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Now, bring your knees, hug them all the way into your chest to take that release here, right? And then we're going to go back. We're going to do both heels at once. All right, so you're going to come back, knees over the hips, calves parallel to the ground, toes coming back towards your face. Again, you can make it more by lifting your head and shoulders. You can keep your head and shoulders down. Now, here, you can bring your heels together and take your feet out, like that plie, like we did earlier, that Pilates V when you're squatting, or you can keep your legs going straight ahead, keep your heels separated, parallel to each other if that feels better to you, all right? And what you're gonna do, you're gonna drop both legs down together with that little tap, tap, and then pull it back up, right? It's harder. Notice, if you're pulling in 6 o'clock, that's what happens to a lot of people when they get all the way down, your back is arching. If you can't get your heels all the way down without arching your back, then don't go all the way down. Maybe you just stop 3/4 of the way down and you pull it back up. Right? If you can, then go all the way down, give that tap, tap, and pull back up. Right? But pay attention to what's going on with your body. Make sure you're getting the most out of this that you can. All right, we're going to do 5 more here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your heels back up. Now hug them all the way in to your chest. Now, from here, we're going to come back into floating table. And we're going to do our hundreds right here, right? So you can have your knees over your hips, calves parallel to the ground. Everybody's gonna lift their head and shoulders here at the beginning. Your fingertips are reaching forward like you're trying to bring them to the top of your mat. Now, you can stay and hold right here as we do this, easiest thing, right? If you wanna add a little bit more, maybe you go between, so the count of 5, between a floating table and taking your feet straight up to the sky, going back and forth here. Maybe you start with your feet straight up to the sky and you go between here and a 45-degree angle, right? That's the hardest. Now, if you're doing that, make sure that you don't pull your legs all the way back in and let your tailbone lift. When you come up, you gotta stay at that straight up and down. And you wanna keep your toes pointed as you come out to the 45-degree angle, all right? If you're here in floating table, you're just holding floating table. If you're coming between floating table and straight up, make sure again that when you take your legs straight up, don't let them pull back, right? You're not throwing your legs back, you're just bringing them right over your hips. All right, so I'm gonna go to the middle level. You guys go wherever you need to be, all right? If it gets to be too much, you can always let your head come back down, but keep your shoulders and your fingertips elevated. That's what's engaging your core. You guys ready? Here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exhale, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Exhale, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Inhale, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Exhale, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Inhale, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Exhale, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Inhale, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Exhale, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Inhale, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Exhale, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Inhale, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Exhale, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Inhale, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Exhale, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Inhale, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Exhale, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. All right, let your head and shoulders relax down. Take your knees, hug them into your chest. Now, you're gonna let your legs go all the way out long here. Take your arms overhead. Now we're gonna go right into our roll-ups, right? Really burn out the abs. So, you can do your straight up roll-up. In your straight up roll-up, you just peel that upper body up off the mat and take your body into that C curve, right? You can't see me here, but I'm grabbing my toes. C curve. I'm gonna keep moving forward as I do this, it's all good, right? And then you're gonna come up, come all the way back down, your arms overhead. Now, if that feels like a lot, and you can't do it without letting your feet and hands come up, then you're gonna do instead the dead bug roll up. In the dead bug, you're gonna take one foot up, take both feet up, just reach your fingertips up toward your toes and roll up in that shape into your C curve. Come all the way back down and then take your feet up and down, all right? So we're gonna do 10 of those, whatever version you wanna do. Up, reaching for the toes, rounding it back down. Now, if you do the straight ups and they get hard after a while and your heels start to lift after you've done 4 or 5, maybe you wanna switch there to the dead bug and finish off with the dead bug. If you're doing the dead bugs and they're super easy today, switch, try a couple straight up and see if maybe you can start to go there. I'm gonna do 3 more here. 3. 2. And 1. All right, now let yourself come all the way down here. I'm gonna turn myself forward so that you guys can have a better, see better what we're doing here. We're gonna do our spirals. I'll turn like this. Hopefully you guys can see me. All right, so I'm laying on the ground. What I'm gonna do here, right? My hands are overhead. I'm gonna kind of lean over to the right as I come up. Now maybe I'm gonna drop my right elbow to the ground to push me up. Come around, sweep my hands over towards my legs. And then I'm gonna come back down the same way. So I'm gonna come around, maybe you have to drop your right elbow as you come down, spiral yourself down to the mat. And then as you come up again, then you go the other way. So you're leaning to the left, maybe dropping the elbow to push you up, sweep your hands over towards your legs. Then you come down, same way, dropping the left elbow, coming all the way down. Now if you wanna make it a little bit more, you just move your arms over, you don't drop the elbow. Keep your arms up off the mat as you sweep around. Same thing when you go down, right? Your shoulder is what hits the ground first. That's a little more challenging. So if you wanna try that, try that. Again, if it gets hard as you're doing it, the cheat is always to drop the elbow and push yourself up. All right, so we're gonna do 3 more here each way. I've lost count, but I think this is the last one. All right, and then come all the way down. Let yourself extend everything long again. Take that deep stretch. And then we're gonna come back here to our floating table. All right, so now we're gonna start to go through our Fab 5. Okay, so you're gonna bring your legs back to floating table. Take your left leg, extend it all the way long. I should be a little bit further back here so you guys can really see. So as I'm extending my left leg long, my left heel's hovering over the mat. I'm hugging that right knee into my chest. I'm gonna take, at the beginning, my right hand to the outside of my right knee, left hand to the inside of my right foot, lift my head and shoulders, pull that knee in towards my chest. You give it that tug, tug, and then you switch it out. So your right leg is gonna go all the way long, hover over the mat, taking that left knee in, left hand to the outside of the left knee, right hand to the inside of the left foot, tug, tug, and then we switch. Tug, tug, switch, tug, tug, switch. Now keep going. Don't worry about your hands if you put your hands in the wrong place, right? It doesn't really matter. They're just there to make sure that you don't start putting your knees out to the sides and bicycling it, right? Keep everything nice and aligned, nice and tight. If it gets to be too much, you can let your head and shoulders come down. That's one little cheat. All right, we're gonna do 5 more here on each side. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. 4 more. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. 3 more. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. 2 more. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Last one. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Let your head and shoulders come down. Take your knees into your chest. All right, now from here, take your hands to the crease of your knees. Rock yourself up to seated. All right, now we're gonna do here our bobbing to canoe, right? So in bobbing to canoe, you're lifting your feet up off the mat. You're hugging around your knees, right? Tuck your chin to your chest, trying to drive your forehead toward your knees, right? This is important as we go through this. People tend to like let it go a little bit until they're barely here, barely grabbing their knees, right? Part of the movement is to pull yourself in tight, to curl into that little ball, right? Seems easy right now. After we've done 10 of these, it won't seem so easy. So we're right here now. Now we're gonna release our legs, let them go all the way long. Your heels are gonna hover the mat. Your arms can stay at your sides, right? That's one little cheat. Make it harder, your arms can go overhead, right? And you're fully extended. The higher your legs are, the easier it is. So your canoe might be here, right? Or it could be really low to where your heels are just barely hovering. Now you're gonna pull it all the way back in. Pull yourself all the way up. Remember, you really gotta squeeze those knees in, tuck the chin Get the forehead to go towards the knees. It doesn't have to touch the knees, but bring it towards the knees. All right, so let's do that 9 more times. This is Bami, and then we go to canoe. Bami, to canoe. Bami, canoe. Bami, canoe. We're gonna do 8 more here, or 8 more, 5 more, sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Come back in to your body and let your feet come down to the mat. Now from here, come to the top of your mat again. And then from here, we're gonna roll all the way back down to our back. So you take your arms long, tuck your chin, round it down to your back. Once we get here, you're gonna bring your legs back in. Naturally, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do our leg pull. So we're gonna take our legs straight up to the sky. So bring your legs right over your hips. Point your toes towards the ceiling. Now here, we're gonna let that left leg come down. So it's just like that knee pull in, right? And the leg pull in, that bottom leg hovers. And so it's hovering over the mat, toes pointed. You're gonna grab wherever you can around your right leg. Maybe it's your knee, maybe it's your calf or your ankle, maybe it's just around your thigh, right? But you're gonna lift your head and shoulders up. Bring your nose and your knee together as much as you can. That little tug, tug, just like in the knee pull in, right? And then we switch. So it's tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Do 5 more. 5 more now, right? Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. 4 more on each side. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. 2 more. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Now, let your head and shoulders relax down. Bring your arms up overhead. If you want to take that release and hug your knees in for a breath or 2, you can. All right, here we're going to do our leg lowers. So your legs are going to come together. Maybe you make that Pilates V where your heels are touching each other. Maybe they're just parallel to each other. Your head and shoulders are going to stay on the ground. Now remember, when we do this, we lower. You want to lower your legs, start to lower them down just far enough, just that place where you feel your back start to arch. When you start to pull into 6 o'clock, that's your stopping point. And you're going to bring your legs back up. So for some people, we can get almost all the way to the ground before that happens, right? For other people, you're just going to get an inch or 2 down and you're going to already feel yourself arch, right? Just pay attention, know where that place is for you, because here's what we're going to do, right? We're going to go down to the count of 4. So if your range of motion is big, you can move a little faster. Down, 2, 3, 4. As you inhale, in 1 count, you pull your legs back up. Now, if your range of motion is small, we're going down to 4, you have to move really, really slow. Down, 2, 3, 4, and then inhale, pull them back up, right? So you find, I'm going to count, we're going to do it 10 times, right? So we're exhaling the whole time from down to 4. Big, long exhale on the way down. We inhale, pull it back up, all right? Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. We're going to do it 5 more times. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. 3 more, I think. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Down, 2, 3, 4, inhale, pull it back up. Last one. Down, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, pull it back up. Now, from here, bend your knees, bring them back into a floating table. We're gonna go into our bicycles from here. So again, you're gonna bend your elbows, take your fingertips behind your neck, and we're gonna go from here. So you're gonna let your left leg go all the way long. Hover that heel over the mat. You're gonna pick that left elbow up, or that left shoulder, I should say. Bring the left shoulder towards your right knee. Now your right elbow is gonna stay anchored to the ground. Your right shoulder, right elbow, don't move. And then as you bring your left elbow, left shoulder, head back down, then you switch out. You pull that left leg in, extend that right leg long, keep left elbow anchored, peel your right shoulder up towards your left knee. Come back down, bring it back to floating table. All right, so we're gonna do that 9 more times. We're alternating. Left shoulder to right knee, right shoulder to left knee. 8 more. Keep it nice and slow and controlled. 7 more. We don't want to do this super fast. That's when we start to lose control and lose our form. 6 more. 5 more. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Come back down. Now hug your knees into your chest. Now from here, we're going to take the legs up to the sky. All right, so now we're here, we're laying flat on our back. We're going to do our leg circles, right? So you're going to take your right leg. You're going to drop it down. Now, not all the way down, right? It's not coming all the way down to the ground. Just about halfway down. And then you're bringing it around, pulling it back up. So drop it down, sweep it outside your body, bring it back up. Hopefully that's making sense. You guys can see me, right? So we're going to do it just like that with this right leg 7 more times. Drop halfway down, sweep it outside the body, bring it back up and in. In that little circle. You can pick your head and shoulders up if it feels okay, but if it starts to feel like you're wobbling to one side or the other, moving around too much, keep your head and shoulders down. Now let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now let's try that going on the left side, and we're going to add on. All right, so you're going to take your left leg down, just drop it down about halfway, sweep it outside, bring it back up. Drop it down, sweep it outside, bring it back up. So it's not all the way down, right? It's about halfway. Little movement, isolating movement in the hips and the low abs. Two more. And come back. So now we kind of reset here. We're back with our legs straight overhead. Now this time we're going to do it the other. We're going to do this. We're going to do this again. But we're going to go in reverse. So what you're going to do, you're going to let your right leg fall a little bit to the right. Then drop it down halfway, right? Bring it in so it's straight in front of you. Pull it straight back up. So it goes out, down, in, and up. So the opposite direction, what we were doing last time. For a little bit here because I'm getting too close to the wall. All right, so we're going out, down, and straight up. Out, down, straight up. 2 more. And then come to stop. Now let's try that on the left side. Get left leg just slightly out. Drop it down and in and pull it straight back up. Out, down, straight back up. So do 8 more there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now from here, bend into your knees. We're gonna rock up to seated. Plenty of time. All right, now from here, we're gonna come, you're gonna lay all the way down again, right? Now, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do just our basic crunches. So you have options, right? Easiest thing, take your hands, give yourself a big hug, just lift the head and shoulders up and come back down. So it looks like this, right? Don't let your feet come off the ground. Maybe you want to take your hands, bring your fingertips behind your head like we did in the bicycles, keep those elbows going out to the sides, lift up and down. Okay. Now, hardest thing, you take your arms overhead and then you lift up and down. Now, if you're doing this, right, you're not trying to throw your arms forward. You got to keep them in line with your ears as you lift up and down. It just makes a longer lever, makes it a little bit harder, right? So you just have where you want to be. I want you to do about 15 of those. It's a tiny movement. You're not coming all the way up. We're going to do that in a second with a different movement. All right, now come to a stop. All right, now you're going to take your hands and reach them forward, right? So now your hands are going to come, they're off the mat. The palms can be towards your body or they can be down to the ground. You're going to try to bring yourself all the way up now. Usually for me, it means I have to move my feet a little bit further away from my body so that I can bring it up, push my belly all the way to my thighs and come back down, right? So you're letting your arms help, but you don't want them to help too much, right? So your arms stay here. You're not throwing them up and down. You're staying reaching forward. Find that place where you can pull up. My feet lifted a little bit, right? The first couple are hard, so you're adjusting your body, trying to find where it is. Because usually for me, I gotta move my feet further away before I can do this. Some of you are gonna have to move your feet closer in, right? If you can't come all the way up, you just come up to the point where your feet start to lift, right? And that's here, maybe it's here, right? And then you just go back down. If you can bring it all the way up without your feet lifting, you bring it all the way up. Mine are still lifting. I don't know if you guys see mine are lifting each time. Usually I find it a little bit faster. There we go. Now my feet are starting to stay down. It's getting harder, but my feet have learned to stay down. I've learned to take the work. I've learned to take my work into the abs. All right, so we're just gonna do 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, that was good, right? Okay, so now you're sitting all the way up. We're gonna come around. We're gonna come into plank, right? We haven't done any plank work yet today. So our bodies are ready. Now you're gonna come, bring your shoulders over your wrists. Take your legs out long, so you can be here, right? Shoulders over the wrists, hips just below the shoulders. If you need to drop down to your knees, you can. It looks like this. Keeping your body to be being one straight line from your shoulders down to your knees. Don't push your hips back if you came down to your knees, right? You're just gonna stay tucked. Grip on your toes, stay low. Now what we're gonna do here first, you're just gonna take your right knee to your right elbow, send that right leg back, take the left knee to the left elbow. You can do this from your knees. Here, right? So whatever you want to do, we're going to do 8 more on each side. 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. All right, now let your knees come down. If they aren't already, push yourself back to child's pose for a second. We're gonna do one more thing from there. Now come back up. Now from here, we're gonna come back into our plank. Now this time we're gonna go across the body. So you're gonna bring your right knee to your left elbow. Take it back. Take your left knee to your right elbow. Take it back. Doing it from your knees, looks like this. All right, so 8 more. 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Drop your knees down. Let yourself come back into tabletop or into child's pose. Now this time, as you come up from your child's pose, you're going to come into tabletop, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Drop down here to your elbows. Right? So now you're here, you've got your elbows underneath your shoulders, as opposed to your wrists underneath your shoulders. Right? Your hips are high right now, but you're going to tuck your toes. Lift your knees up off the mat. Keep your elbows underneath your shoulders, shoulders over the elbows. So now we're here in dolphin, right? So you can walk yourself in a little closer if you want. The closer you go, the harder it is. Right? You take your feet further back, it's actually a little easier. Now, bring your hands together and interlace them. So it's like this. Let your head drop down between your elbows. And what you're gonna do here, you're gonna push with your toes, push your chin past your knuckles. And then come back, bring the crown of your head back by your elbows. Do that 9 more times. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And from there, let your knees come down to the mat, flatten your feet, push it back to child's pose. All right, last thing here, we're gonna come up into tabletop, right? This time we get to stay in tabletop, so that's good, right? And we're gonna do our crunches. We're gonna do our spinal balance crunches. I'm trying to find a place where I can go where you guys can see my whole body. We'll try it from right here. All right, so I'm gonna send my right leg long, at hip level, toes towards the mat. I'm gonna take my left arm, reach it out. So my left palm is open towards the right side of the room. My left thumb is up to the sky. And then I'm gonna take a crunch here. So I'm gonna bend my left elbow, bend my right knee, touch the other end of your chest, tuck your chin to your chest, watch them touch. Open back up. All right, now, once you're back in spinal balance, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna drop back to tabletop. You're gonna do the other side. So take your left leg long, heels, toes towards the ground, hip towards the ground, knee towards the ground. Take your right leg, reach it, right leg, right arm, reach it long. Take your crunch here, elbow to knee, tucking the chin. Open back up to spinal balance. Drop it down, tabletop. So we're alternating our sides here. So we're going to spinal balance with the right leg long. Take your crunch, come back through spinal balance, that's important, and then drop it down. And switch to the other side. Spinal balance, crunch, back to spinal balance. Spinal balance, crunch, back to spinal balance, tabletop. All right, so we're doing a few more here on each side. We're gonna do 3 more on each side. Now, we're gonna do 3 more now. We started with the right leg long, so now we're gonna do 3 more on each side. Right leg, left arm, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop, left leg, right arm, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop. 2 more. Spinal balance, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop, spinal balance, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop. Last one on each side. Right leg, left arm, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop, left leg, right arm, crunch, spinal balance, tabletop. Now, this time as we get to tabletop, now we're gonna let our legs go to one side or the other. Bring your legs around in front of you. Now we're gonna do something a little different today as we stretch out, right? So what I want you to do, you're here in your hook line, see if you can take this left heel and get it to come outside your right hip, right? Step over with your right leg so that your right foot is outside your left knee. Now you can stay right here if you want to. If you can, you're gonna grab that right ankle, bring the right heel outside the left hip. So you're here in the shoelace position. Now, if this absolutely isn't comfortable to you, you're gonna feel a little stretch in your right hip, and that's part of the point. You can do this whole thing from easy sit. Make sure your right leg is in front, right? So you decide. You can be in this easy sit with your right leg in front. You can be with the left heel tucked and the right foot on the ground, or you can be in full shoelace with your right heel by your right hip and your knees stacked as much as they can. My knees don't stack perfectly, right? But I can do it from this position. All right, now from here, you're gonna take your hands, bring them up to the sky, right? Now, drop your right hand outside your left foot. Reach your left hand over to the right. Take a little side bend here. Bring your hands back up to the sky. And then from there, drop your left hand back behind your left hip. Take your right hand to your right ankle, or maybe just outside your right knee, and then twist to the left, look over your left shoulder. Come back around here, take both arms up overhead. Now this time you're gonna take your hands, bring them behind your back, interlace your hands behind your back. Pull your shoulder blades together, push your knuckles towards the floor, keep your chin and your gaze up. And then from there, you're gonna come up, keep your hands interlaced, start to bring your belly towards your right thigh, right? So you're coming up. Now, push your knuckles towards the back wall there just for a breath. Then come back up. Now, release your hands, take them up to the sky. Drop your hands in front of your knees. And then see if you can walk it forward here to get a little deeper with your belly to your thighs. Now bring it all the way back up. And we're gonna switch that out. So unwind your legs. And now you're gonna take your right ankle with your left hand. See if you can bring that right ankle outside your left hip. Step your left foot over to the outside of your right thigh so you can stay here. Or you can grab a hold of that left ankle with your right hand, see if you can bring it outside your right hip and come to the shoelace here. If neither of those things feel good to you, then you're gonna come into easy sit, but you're gonna make sure that your left leg is the one in front, all right? So you decide what's gonna work for you. Once we're there, you take the hands up to the sky. You're gonna drop your left hand outside your left foot, or outside your right foot, sorry. Reach those right fingertips over to the left. And then come back up. Now from here, you're gonna drop your right hand outside your right hip. Take your left hand outside your left knee, or if you can grab all the way onto your left ankle, do that. Open up with your right shoulder, look over your right shoulders, twisting to the right. Now come back around, take your arms up overhead, and then sweep your hands back behind you. Pull your shoulder blades together, push your knuckles towards the floor. And then we're gonna lean back at first, look up. And then come all the way forward. Put your belly down as much on your left thigh as you can, even if you've got your foot on the ground. Start to lift those hands up and off your low back as you're leaning forward. Just a breath here. And then we're going to rise back up, release our hands, sweep them up to the sky. Turn your palms towards the front of the room and then drop your hands down in front of your legs. Walk as far forward as you can. And then let yourself come all the way back up. Unwind your legs here. All right, before we go to legs on the wall, let's just do one more thing. Kick your legs out super wide as you can. And then bring your hands right in the center and just take a forward fold right here. Now we've got those legs crunched up. We're just going to open them up for a second, get those inner thighs. Keep your back flat. Just walk yourself as far forward as you can. Take 2 or 3 breaths right here. Keep your toes, your knees pointed up to the sky so you get that stretch. And let yourself walk all the way back up here. And now we're going to come to our legs at the wall. Now if you have some wall space, right, just put your hips against the wall, swing around, getting your glutes as close to the wall as you can. Right, flexing your feet like they're going to step on the ceiling. If you don't have any wall space, then you're just laying on your mat, putting your feet straight up to the sky, like this. Just take a minute or so here, let that blood go from the feet or pools all day back to your head and your heart where you need it more. You're getting that increased circulation. You're also getting naturally lowered blood pressure when you come here. We're resetting the circadian rhythm, the sleep cycle, which is very important. And we're flooding the body with all sorts of anti-aging, anti-stress hormones. It's good for a lot of things. That's how we're going to do it at the end of each class. Keep us nice and relaxed and refreshed. Let's take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready to come out of it, you can stay here a little longer if you want to, but when you are ready to come out of it, if you're on the wall, you're going to bend into your knees, your feet are against the wall, and then just roll to one side or the other so you end up in a fetal position. If you're here without the wall, bend your knees, scrape along your face and body, drop your feet back down to the floor. And then eventually, we're all going to come up to seated. All right, so thank you guys all for joining me today. I know Maggie had to go because she had to meet with her doctor. But I will see you guys all next week at this time. I'm going to Oklahoma next week, but I'll still be here on Monday morning. So that'll be the last thing I do before I go teach you guys this class. After that, I should have some news to give you next week about the possible schedule for the fitness center opening back up in Lantana, because they said they were going to make some decisions by the end of this month. So hopefully I'll hear from Troy and I can let you guys know what's going on there. But join me next week so we can all talk about it, but we'll definitely be here next week, okay? I should unmute you all while I'm talking away here. No, I want to unmute all. There we go. All participants are unmuted. Okay, that's everyone.
Thanks, Paula.
All right, thank you guys. I'm like, why is nobody talking to me? That's why, because I saw you all unmute. All right, so I'll see you guys all next week, yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.